We are also joined by Adam Green. Adam, you know this. When you've advocated for candidates that are seen as liberal, whatever that means, a lot of times the rejoinder from D.C. Democrats is, well, they can't win. What do these races say to your argument?
So the most important thing for Democrats going forward is to have a vision that actually excites people. I was there Tuesday night at his rally. It was electric. And the people weren't just there because we beat the bad guys. They were there, and they will be with him for the long haul because they were inspired by his vision. And no matter where somebody is campaigning, they should be campaigning on a vision that fights for everyday working people, has a shake-up-the-system vibe, and is willing to challenge powerful interests. And you can choose that state by state, district by district. And we've seen that in some red districts and purple districts.
Yeah, and you could do that with a Sherrod Brown, right? Or you could do it with this candidate who some people argue is too polarizing for this to work anywhere else in the country. Your response?
Yeah, I would say don't get distracted by the labels. I think most labels in our political system are broken, including left and right and center. We can have a whole discussion about that. But people get...
And yet you never liked the group No Labels.
If there wasn't
That's a deep cut, everyone. Go on.
So, you know, Zoran, if you take away the label and even the specific policies, look at how he campaigned. Have a vision, be bold, actually inspire people, and maybe challenging corporate power means something different in Nevada or New Hampshire. But the question I would pose to any Democrat, no matter where they're running, is, are you willing to name a villain? Are you willing to tell a story? Or are you just going to have a milquetoast, boring campaign, or rely on anti-Trump backlash and hope that it lasts forever? Surprise, it won't. So if Democrats want to have a durable coalition and not just win in years where Donald Trump is very unpopular, we need to follow his lead everywhere in terms of having a vision and actually inspiring people.
Adam, a related debate has been about the other leaders of the party. Everyone lived through Biden, and the D.C. sort of elite messaging was, there's no problem here. There's no problem here. If you say there's a problem, there's something wrong with you. And then late, when it was kind of late to fix said problem, was, well, we got to get rid of him today. I mean, it was really something we lived through last year. Now, Senate leader is not the same as president, but your group is coming out against Schumer, who's already been taken on water. Headline, this is your group, as I mentioned, Adam Green's group. Progressive leader calls for Schumer to step aside. Adam Green of the PCCC says the Senate deal to end the shutdown is a failure of Schumer's leadership, and there's been a lot this year that Dems have been unhappy with. Why are you making news on this now, and do you think you'll get anywhere?
Yeah. I don't know anybody who thinks that Chuck Schumer is a spectacular leader for this moment. That would include many senators, I'm sure James Carville knows, who in private conversations will say he's not the person to lead us, our caucus, in this moment. And, you know, in other countries, when a leader fails, they step down immediately, whether it's an election or something like Brexit. The next day, they'll step down being like, you know what? You trusted me. I tried. I failed. Goodbye. Only in this country are we saddled with people who lose over and over again. And, you know, it's a real problem for groups like ours that want to be out there, per James' advice, asking people to donate to Senate candidates, volunteer for Senate candidates, to be like, you know what? If we get some fresh blood in there, they will be following Chuck Schumer's lead. That's not really an inspiring proposition right now.
Let me jump in. Some folks say, well, wait a minute, who cares who's leader? And this is about the past. You're saying something that actually has some logic to it, which is the elections are coming in the midterms. If you keep this plan and Democrats do win on the strength of whatever, then Chuck Schumer would still be calling the shots. That's the plan.
That is true.
If you don't change it.
That is true.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I'd even go a step further. I'd asked Mr. Carville to listen to this. For groups like mine that email hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of people, trying to get them involved in this election, people who have been excited by the boldness of Senate Democrats the last 40 days, whose hopes were raised, there was a question of how do you just say rah, rah, Democrats and not even acknowledge that there was a significant loss yesterday? I would argue that the most minimalist thing that we can do, if we want to pivot back to the election, is say, all right, the one head to roll, Chuck Schumer's. It's not that all Democrats are weak. It's not that all Senate Democrats are weak.
Yep.
Chuck Schumer has to step down.